Hey, Shalom Yahal Ba'Shem Yahushai Barakatham to the brothers. Shalom Yahal Shamar Ilathah Ba'Shem Yahushai to the sisters. We are the ISUPK out of the 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. You understand? Under Commander General Yohana. And this is the ISUPK Tuesday Brotherhood class. I'm Precinct Officer 500 Iraq. You understand? Coming to you with another Brotherhood class. All right. So today we're going to start off talking about basically, marijuana and drug dealers in the Bible and what the Bible says about them. All right, about both of them. All right, I mean, just a quick little. I don't know how I can't think of what the doggone word I want to use. Just a quick little foreshadowing on what we are going to be talking about is the fact that, drugs, which does include marijuana, you understand, drug dealers, you understand, they are against the Bible. All right, they are against the Most High God. You understand? Before we get into it, just like we ask every week, ask that everybody make sure that they like and share the class. Do your part to spread this truth out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? There could be somebody on your timeline that's trying to, correct themselves, better their lives, turn it around for the better as a Black, Hispanic, Native American man or woman. Right? The only way that those said people are able to do so is if they start obeying the Most High God. And the only way that you can learn how to do that on this earth is if you are under Commander General Yohana, you understand, in the ISUPK, learning from an ordained priest and prophet of the Lord. You understand? With that said, if anybody online has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat at any time. When I see it, I will do the best of my ability to answer your question scripturally. If I'm unable to answer it myself, I will ask a mightier man than myself to get the answer for you. We are not the Christian church where we will just, say anything that sounds good, makes you feel good, whatever. We actually deal with nothing but the truth in here. You understand? So with that, I believe this is all. I believe that is all for me. Go to where I wanted to start off at for y'all, and then we'll get this class going. All right. Oh man, my notes is tripping. There we go. All right. So we're going to start off today at the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 7. You understand? The book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 7. Oh, snap. Make sure I'm not. So like in 1 second, and then okay. All right. So we're gonna start at the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7. All right. Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You understand? Let's just stop right there, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So, in other words, the very first chapter of the book of Proverbs, verse 7, is letting you know that the true knowledge, the beginning of true knowledge, all starts with the fear of the Lord. All right. It's letting you know that unless you fear the Lord and get the knowledge that comes from fearing the Lord, All those other things that you can learn about, man, it don't mean nothing. You understand? You sitting there actually knowing the exact distance from the earth to the sun, whether or not the earth is flat or round, how many species of birds there are, all about the secret societies that that may be on that may or may not be on the earth, whether or not dinosaurs was real, man. None of that freaking matters. You understand? The only thing that matters is that knowledge that comes from fearing the Most High God. You understand? Reading on. But fools despise wisdom and instruction, right? So obviously, this is what we deal as priests and prophets of the Lord in the ISUPK. We deal with a lot of fools. And one way that we know that somebody is a fool is when we go to correct a brother or sister and let them know, hey, Salakia, brother or sister, man, you shouldn't be doing that. This is destroying you. This is, these are some of the things that are destroying our people, whether that's, homosexuality, drug dealing, you understand, marijuana. Because you know what? What's the first thing that you try? What is the first thing that somebody who smokes weed or does them edibles just for the hell of it, mind you, right? What is one of the first things that they go to that they respond with when you try to tell them that marijuana is destroying our people? One of the first things they say is, oh, this is a plant from the earth. God gave us this plant. God gave us this for our healing, right? That's what they love to say. And we're going to get on that as well, right? What the purpose of certain plants are. You understand? Not all plants are made to be consumed in the same way or in the same what's the word? You say frequency. You understand? What I mean by that is simply saying some plants are put on this earth for strictly for medicine, right? When you have a headache, do you take a Tylenol and then the headache goes, get another Tylenol, and then another Tylenol? You go, oh, you know what? I'm about to eat. Let me take another Tylenol. Or I'm about to, I need to go to sleep. Let me take another Tylenol. Oh, I just woke up. Before I even start my damn life, take another Tylenol. No, you take Tylenol when you need to take Tylenol. When you need to take Tylenol. We all use Tylenol in the appropriate manner that we are supposed to use it when it is needed. You understand? When you have a certain pain that requires Tylenol to alleviate you from that pain. You understand? That's the only time that you use it. Marijuana is supposed to be used the same way. All right, because marijuana was put on this earth for medicinal reasons. You understand? And part of using it for medicinal reasons is not to burn it up and then inhale it. You understand? And we're like I said, we're gonna get in on that. Let me 1 second though. All right. But of course, let's finish breaking down this verse right here, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You understand? When you begin to fear the Lord, you will learn and you'll come to know that the Lord don't want you smoking and he don't want you abusing the plants that were put on here past what they were, abusing the plants that were put here for medicinal reasons. You understand? He knows that marijuana, it might make you feel good when you take it the way that you're supposed to take it. It makes you feel a little bit different, right? But that's the point of it, is to alleviate you temporarily from whatever ailment it is that you may be suffering from at that moment. You understand? It's not something that you just, you wake and bake and before you go to do anything, you go get high. You ain't supposed to do that nonsense. You understand? And of course, a fool will tell you will sit there and fight against it left and right. Do you understand? Left and right, he's going to tell you, oh no, but I'm not an addict, or I'm not weed doesn't control my life, or just all sorts of manner of just foolishness. They give you all the foolish excuses as to why they should be allowed. Everyone should be allowed to smoke weed if they so choose to do so. You understand? But ultimately, it's because they're a doggone fool. All right, they're a fool, and they don't have the knowledge nor the fear of the Most High God. You understand? And mind you, who are some of the biggest pot smokers? Christians. You understand? Even though that they sit there and say left and right how much they love God, how much they praise God, how much they know God. Man, they don't. In reality, they don't, because God is against this. God is against you smoking. God is against smoking weed, abusing drugs, period. You understand? But again, we're going to get on that. We're gonna drop that. We're gonna go to, I believe it's in Genesis. All right. Yeah, we're gonna drop that. We're gonna go to the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 29. The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 29. And again, for anybody that's just tuning in, if y'all got any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. And I'll answer your question to the best of my ability, scripture. You understand? Also, for those of y'all that haven't done so yet, make sure that you like and share the video. Also, subscribe to our YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. You understand? Make sure you also hit the little bell button so that you get notifications for all our videos as soon as they get uploaded, or even for all of our online classes as soon as they begin. And then also make sure you go onto our Facebook, ISBK Las Vegas. Like the page, you understand, and also like and share the video on the Facebook as well. You understand? So again, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth. You understand? So yeah, you're right. God did give us these plants. God did give us these herbs, but we're not done yet. Moving on, right? And every tree, and in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. All right. So this right here is going to let you know that there are plants that are here for meat, and then there's also going to be plants that are put here for medicinal reasons. You understand? You understand? So now you got to think, what nutritional value does marijuana have? Actually, and we're not even going to just pick on the crackhead potheads. All right, because in reality, there's other drugs that plague the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women as well. That being heroin, crack cocaine. You understand? I mean, methamphetamine is that's pretty much a straight up man-made drug. Although we will touch on that, where methamphetamine even came from in the first place, and its actual intended purposes when it was created in a bit. Right? But these drugs, man, they all come from plants. Why is it that you never hear a crackhead say, well, I mean, this crack cocaine just came from, this came from a plant? Why is that never their argument? Why is it that, somebody that does heroin, their argument is never, oh, this came from, this is from the poppy plant. This is, from the plants of in Afghanistan and Asia, which I don't know if y'all knew this, but that's a really big major reason, aside from from the oil that is in Afghanistan and the Middle East as to why the U.S. government wanted to infiltrate the Middle East in the first place. You understand? More access to drugs. But anyways, to flood our ghettos with. So with that being said, why is it that only potheads, people who love to smoke weed, are the only ones who will argue that marijuana comes from the earth and is good for you and this, that, and the other? You do realize that there are medicinal properties to using heroin. There actually is good properties from using heroin. There's good properties, good healing properties that comes from tobacco as well. One thing that I used to do when I was in the white man's military, I used to do that, that little nasty, what's it called? That dip, the chewing tobacco, right? So what you can do, now I was stationed out in North Carolina out there in Fort Bragg, real humid climate, humid environment, right? So when you got humidity, what else do you got? You got buku bugs. Do you know what tobacco is good for? You can take that chewing tobacco, you can dry it out, and when you get mosquito bites and ant bites, you can rub it on those ant bites, and it helps alleviate the itching and the swelling. It's also good for a bug repellent, and you can also use it to filter out your water because it'll kill everything in the water. So there's good properties that come out of tobacco. But the crazy thing is that the way that we use tobacco, what does it do? It causes cancer. You understand? When you sit there and smoke tobacco, you're changing the chemical compounds of tobacco, and now it's a cancer causing agent. It becomes a cancer causing agent. You understand? Ain't no difference with marijuana. You're not going to sit there and fight cancer while you're sitting there smoking weed. That don't even make no sense. Smoke, no matter what you are smoking, when you inhale smoke, it is bad for you and your lungs. You understand? It is bad. Why do you think you cough? Tell me, can anybody tell me when a good time it is for you to cough? And of course, there's gonna be a pothead that might get on here, that might be watching this, but I cough to get off, so that's a good time. Man, you're dumb. Every time you cough, you're sitting there killing yourself more and more. That whole coughing, what do you call it? That the action of coughing is extremely harsh on your lungs and your respiratory system. The purpose of coughing is to get whatever is going into your respiratory system, to get it out. You understand? It's just like when you get a fever, your body says, okay, you know what? We have a bacterial infection. We're going to kill it by heating this up. We're going to heat my body. Your body says, I'm going to heat up to kill this bacterial infection. And that's why you get a fever. You understand? It's a reaction to something infiltrating your body that shouldn't be there. Well, you know what? When something infiltrates your respiratory system, that's what your body does. It tries to cough it up. When you have too much mucus in your respiratory tract, your body is doing the same thing. It's trying to expel that mucus by coughing it up. You understand? That's why when you cough, you got something stuck like in your throat or in your lungs or whatever. You can kind of feel it. What's the first thing you start doing? Like you basically trying to get it all gathered up so you can get it out all in one good, that one good cough, so it all comes up. Of course, it's never that simple. You understand? You gotta bits and pieces break that mucus up and spit it out and all that disgusting nastiness. But it's the same it's the same principle when you are smoking. And in fact, when you smoke, you are creating that mucus tract in your respiratory system. So, again, why is it that potheads are the main ones trying to argue that marijuana is so good for you to smoke and consume when God put, just because God put it on this earth? Man, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all just trying to find a way to give anything and everything power so that you can just continue in the wickedness of which you like to partake in. You understand? Because at the end of the day, again, Like we just read in Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You think you knowledgeable just because you can reiterate some of the healing properties that were just recently researched and discovered that of marijuana's medicinal properties. So you can regurgitate that and say, oh, you know what? It's good for me to smoke. But yeah, and then say, see, God put it here for me. But then you're not bringing up all the facts. You're not bringing out all the information. You're not doing a full, thorough research to see just how the marijuana needs to be utilized in the first place for you to even get its medicinal properties and maximize it in the first place. Because you know what? This is the thing as well. Let's say that you got a cold, you got a flu. You know that if you do not follow those directions that are put on those, on the over-the-counter, actually any, whether it's prescribed or over-the-counter, cough syrup, you understand? Any drug, when they have directions and you do not follow those directions, especially when it is meant to kill a virus, bacteria, fungal infection, whatever kind of infection that you have, if you do not follow it to the T, you know that you're basically helping that that strand of whatever you're infected with to become more stronger and more immune to that particular medication. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know? So in other words, when you sitting here trying, abusing marijuana, when let's say you got what are they trying to say? Glaucoma is a reason to consume marijuana, right? Well, if you're not consuming the marijuana in the way that you're supposed to be doing it, that glaucoma is gonna, it's gonna learn how to survive in that environment of, even though that there's those, that environment that would naturally be uncomfortable for that glaucoma, but when you consume the marijuana like you're supposed to, but when you don't consume it the way that you are supposed to, now it's gonna, it'll be able to fight back and resist it. How do you think that like super AIDS and super gonorrhea and all these super STDs that are coming out, how do you think they became a super strand? How they became super diseases? It's because people are not using medication across the board, not with just marijuana, but just across the board the way that they're supposed to be using it. You understand? You might end up getting the flu or, a simple cold, but because you are addicted to cough syrup already, you got to get some super duper gooper goddamn cough syrup to even be able to fight off the infection. That simple cold that you have now that's finally gotten, a whole lot stronger and a lot more severe with this infection on your body. You need some super antibiotic to be able to fight it off because your body is already used to having those cough syrup agents inside of you, those healing properties that comes from that cough syrup. You understand? These are some of the side effects of you abusing these drugs. You understand? It's that you're making these doggone diseases even worse. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is why the Most High, like, you cannot refute his words. You understand? You cannot say that he is wrong. You cannot go against what he's saying, because in the midst of you trying to go against what he's saying, now you got a super herpes syphilis, you got herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, and AIDS, and there's no goddamn cure for all of that because you got the super duper version of all of it, and they ain't come out for none of them, any type of healing agents to fight against any of those infections. But you're so caught up in taking, you're taking, smoking all of this and popping these pills and taking this cough syrup and taking this and taking that, injecting this and injecting that, that you know what, when you actually try to put some real medicine in your body, it's ineffective because all the infections already know how to live amongst those healing agents and to fight against it. You understand? I don't know if any of y'all have ever played a little mobile game that came out a couple of years ago. That Plague Inc. game, man. I played that real heavy way before the pandemic had came out, right? And part of it, like that game is slick, a learning tool to actually see how the evolution of bacteria, fungi, viruses, and stuff like that, how over time they get stronger. And when they what's the word? It starts with an M. Mutate. When they mutate, it becomes a whole nother strand that is just not to be played with. It's harder to cure. It's harder to fight off. It's even harder to detect. You understand? This is part of why it is important for us to fear the Most High God. Because you just fearing the Most High God, that in itself will keep you wise. It will keep you from abusing drugs. You will only take what you need to when you need to. And when you are doing just that, well, guess what? You only need the bare minimum to fight off a virus. You'll only need the bare minimum to fight off a bacterial infection, a fungal infection. In fact, the crazy thing is when you ain't sitting there trying to smoke every goddamn thing that that's thrown on your table, you're not gonna have any type of respiratory issues. For crying out loud, we did just come out of goddamn COVID-19. I mean, what was it? Just the other day, Biden, I got a news alert that Biden had just announced that the pandemic is over for COVID-19, but it is still a big problem. I mean, it looks like he's just trying to get some extra approval points to make it sound like, he defeated the big, ugly monster of COVID-19, but, we still got monkeypox to deal with. And watch. A bunch of them politicians, man, they gonna watch. And chances are Biden gonna be one of them. Because y'all be seeing how he be touching on little girls and on cameras and whatnot, be trying to hug them and whatnot, like the old creeper old man that he is. You understand? All right. So now we got to understand it that there are, first and foremost, the beginning of all knowledge is fearing the Most High God. All right. If you fear the Most High, that's exactly why you watching these classes in the first place. That's exactly what got you into, watching the ISUPK classes in the first place. You understand? Trying to get into the class and clean yourself up is because you fear the Most High God. You know that you're doing something wrong and it's about to bite you in the ass. So you say, you know what? Let me fix myself. All right. And let me learn how to fix myself. And quite frankly, the only place that you can find that fixing is in the ISUPK. You understand? And y'all obviously already know it. That's why you in here. All right. You got that fear of the Lord. And you know what? And as priests and prophets of the Lord in the ISUPK, we will teach you how not to offend the Most High God so that you can clean yourself up and get yourself right. And so that you can serve the Most High God. You understand? So you can be called that wise man. And hell, and you'll be able to see them fools that despise that wisdom that you in instruction that you give them. You'll be able to, man, pick them out, man. This dude is goofy. You understand? I mean, and at the same time, they goofy, but it's because they destroyed. You understand? We all got to take into consideration that we was all destroyed. I mean, hell, I was a partaker in, chiefing it up as well before I had learned about the truth. You understand? But just like what I had just said, man, I wanted to clean myself up. I just got tired of being in the condition that I was in and wanted my life to finally come, turn around and become better. You understand? I was sick of the whole repeating cycle in my life. You understand? All right. So we're going to drop that. Now we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 10. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18. So like Deuteronomy 18 and verse 10. Give y'all a second to get there. All right. Hey, shalom, Lord Christ. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Shalom, Lord Christ, sir. Good to see you in class, sir. Shalom, Lord Christ, sis. Good to see you in class. You need to be in class. Oh, man, I lost my doggone play. 18. All right. That's what I get for laughing at the system, yeah. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire. All right. This fire it's not like the fire of wow, what's the doggone word? Like the furnace. You understand that, like the furnace of brotherhood. You understand, to be tried by fire in the furnace, so that we may, so that we may be found to be more. What's the word? And I'm paraphrasing it, obviously, to be more valuable than gold. You understand? Furnace of adversity. It's not the same. This fire is basically that fire of hell. You understand? And we're gonna get more on it. All right. Or that useth divination. That divination is like, that palm reading. I had looked up that word not too long ago, obviously, for this class. Let's get the actual definition of divination. All right. So this is the Oxford Languages Dictionary. Divination, which is a noun, the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. So you understand, sitting there talking to, spirits and trying to look into that magic crystal ball of the future and stuff like that. Man, you ain't supposed to be, partaking in that. You understand? The Lord is saying right here, you are not to partake in that. Okay? Or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. You understand? So an observer of times, man, you watching like the stars. So it's, you over here, like, for instance, people that sit there and say, prime example, my Nana. Oh man, that woman, she made me laugh, man. She really do. Right now, apparently, is what is it? The Mercury is in retrograde. The only thing that I know that what that means is what she told me what that means. Is that's not, you're not supposed to buy or get into contracts or something like that, right? Man, you're not supposed to live your life like that, first of all. You understand? You're gonna, for one, that person is giving power to some rock floating out in space. And just because it has I don't know what the retrograde actually means, but because it's in a certain position, or I guess it's doing a specific dance, I don't know what it's doing aside from the word retrograde. And Salakia, y'all can look that up. I really don't care what that means. You understand? But you're not supposed to live your life like that. You're not supposed to be waiting for, there's supposed to be a shooting meteor shower tonight. We shouldn't do anything until after the meteor shower, or else it's bad luck. You understand? Or, because me and my rib, we was watching Dexter, and the theme for for season 6 was like some religious, it was basically this dude was on some religious paganism crap. Of course, he was, trying to steal from the Bible, but he kept it, he kept it Christian, very Christian. It was obviously Christian how pagan he was being, right? With all the the sacrifices that he was that he was doing and whatnot for his Christian God, right? He wasn't doing certain things until certain times, like there was a solar eclipse and stuff like that. We're not supposed to live our lives like that. You understand what I'm saying? or an enchanter or a witch. So like an enchanter is basically like, it's similar to a witch, because a witch will concoct these potions for you, right? Which, in simple terms, what a witch or a what's the other word? A wizard. What a witch and a wizard actually is, man, it's a drug dealer. That's what it is. A witch and a wizard is a drug dealer, because they give you these, they acting like Alice in Wonderland, where they give you little fun bags that says snort me. And then you snort that, you snort what's in that little fun bag and you feel great. You feel so happy, but then all of a sudden you picking your face apart. You understand? You bleeding out of your nose just randomly all the doggone time. You're broke all the time because you feeding them money to get some more of that sniff me fun powder in a bag, or that eat me, or that smoke me, or that drink me, or what have you. You understand? In this, see, y'all so caught up and stuck on the things that y'all see in Hollywood and on TV. And this is one way that you know that there's a difference between the priests and prophets of the Lord. You understand? In the ISUPK versus everybody else that's in the world, which does include those fake Israelites. You understand? And those so-called camps, those so-called schools. I don't even know what the hell they call themselves. I just call them Christian Bible groups that's just united in white Jesus and just in a different sect. You understand? They want to be Black Panthers because you know what? At the end of the day, they still accept them white folk in there. They still laying with white women in there. You understand? They still having sex with, they still having sodomite sex in there. You understand? Ain't nothing changed. They still doing drugs. You understand? Nothing changed. So they're just Christian Bible groups, for what they say is for just Black people. But like I said, man, they still bringing in white folk in there. You understand? Oh damn, so like I ain't gonna front, man. I lost my train of thought, rambling off onto that a little bit too doggone much. But so that no, I lost my train of thought. Salakia, y'all. I'm gonna move on. So like an enchanter is basically basically the same thing, but an enchanter is gonna do things to enchant some object to make you feel like it's giving you power. So prime example, them folk that be sitting there charging their crystals. Oh, there's a full moon tonight. Make sure you put out your moon crystals, because you're gonna get lunar power in a crystal rock thing that's gonna do nothing. It's just gonna be nothing. Supposedly it's gonna be warding off evil spirits and bad energies. But the funny thing is you are that evil spirit. You are that bad energy. And you know how? Because you're still getting high. You're going to that witch and you're going to that wizard to go get me that sniff me bag, or that smoke me bag, or that drink me cup. You understand? You like partaking in being a part of Alice in Wonderland. Oh, that's okay. That's what I was about to get on. Y'all so stuck on the things that y'all see in Hollywood, right? Prime example is Alice in Wonderland. Man, just because they say, man, eat this, eat me, it's gonna make you feel good. Now, we all seen Alice in Wonderland. She was, she ate an eat me and two different eat me's and a drink me and this. Oh wait, no. First she ate an eat me and it was a big upper. She grew up, got real big. It was an upper. Then it said, then she found a bottle that said drink me. Then she drank that after she was sitting there crying because she just got so high up. Her high was too high. She needed to come back down. So she drank some of that drink me bottle. And then in the midst of her crying, she cried so doggone much, she made a big old lake of her tears. And then when she drank herself into the bottle. You understand? See, that sounds ridiculous. And of course it does. It's a movie. But y'all missing the point to everything that y'all seeing. You understand? there are people out there that say, hey man, you want to try this? Like, come on now, like, man, just smoke it, just sniff it, just do this, just do that, man. It'll have you feeling, so high, so good, man. This will really bring you down, man. This will really bring you down to earth, and this will have you this will have you that, man. Hollywood has y'all thinking that it's gonna look like Alice in Wonderland. So when it doesn't happen like Alice in Wonderland, y'all don't believe that dude is a wizard. You don't believe that bitch is a doggone a witch. You understand? It's going over your heads because y'all got Disney glasses on, man. That's what it all comes. Y'all got Christian Disney glasses on because you think that a potion is supposed to actually transform you into a bear or transform you into a dragon or whatever it is. But in reality, when you start to drink, you become a monster. You become a dragon. You become an animal. You become that bear. But you think that you're supposed to, to be a bear, you got to have them, them paws and like an animal. Nah, man. That actually damn near to be growling around the house anyways because you don't know when to stop. And you're an angry drunk because you have issues that you never got resolved. You understand? Which is another reason why it's very important for our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women to get in our classes so that they can receive counseling. You understand? So that you can overcome those issues. You understand? So that if you need to be on medication, you can go get that you can get help to go get that medication that you need to be on. You understand? So that you have an outlet, somebody to talk to, whatever, somebody, a brother will take you out, whatever, so that you don't have to ponder on, whatever it is that's always got you depressed or just got you angry or what have you. You understand? Now, ISUPK under commanding General Yohana is detrimental to so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? For us to overcome our issues. You understand? For us to overcome ourselves. You understand? And when I say ourselves, I mean ourselves as an individual. Because quite frankly, of course, we know our biggest number one enemy is those goddamn oppressors out there, the so-called white man, the so-called Asian man, the so-called Africans. You understand? Those are our enemies. You understand? But part of their crafty counsel was to get us to hate ourselves. So now we have to learn to love ourselves, learn to recognize that the person that they formed us into is an enemy. They made us an enemy to ourselves as an individual and as a whole. And only in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana can you reverse that. You understand? And that's simply by learning how to love yourself, to love your brother as yourself. And you get all that beginning with the fear, by getting the fear of the Most High God. All that knowledge is going to follow up right after, knowing that you are his favorite people. You understand? Knowing that you are greater than those people that manipulated you to hating yourself and your people in the first place. You understand? That's the kind of power that we have in the ISUPK. You understand? To reverse all them doggone potions and spells and whatnot that, our oppressors are putting on our people. You understand what I'm saying? All right, moving on. So I know I got real stuck on verse 10. Moving on, verse 11. Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. You understand? These things are not to be found amongst our people. These are things we are not to take part on. So we're not supposed to be into astrology. We're not supposed to be into numerology. We're not supposed to be trying to talk to the dead. We're not supposed to be trying to bring life back to the dead. You understand what I'm saying? We're not supposed to be, concocting all of these drugs and whatnot to give somebody, to give them false hope. You get y'all know that a love spell is actually something real, right? put somebody on ecstasy, give somebody some MDMA, or what is it called, Molly. Man, them doggone people for that time of that high on ecstasy and Molly, that person love the hell out of you. You want to be real strong. This is to go back on what I was saying with methamphetamine, right? You want to be real strong and just fight for just not even hours, but days on end. That's what crystal methamphetamine was actually created for in the first place. You understand? You can look all these things up that I've been bringing out about these drugs, right? Crystal meth was created in a lab by the Nazi scientists because Adolf Hitler wanted to create that superhuman. We all are aware that he was already on that whole Aryan race. This is the superior race and this, that, and the other. We already know that they were on that, right? But especially because at that time, they got beat the hell out in the Olympics by, who do you think? The real superior race that is on the face of this earth, the black man. You understand? During the Olympics, during the World War II, they came up with crystal meth because it would make his soldiers fight harder, longer, go without sleep. Like you want to talk about, they talking about, to go from this town to that town, that's a 3-day march, but they asses will be there in about a day. Because, for those of y'all that are familiar with crystal meth, I'm not. I only heard stories to keep it a stack with you. But, when you get into moving, you get to moving on some crystal meth. You understand? All right. So you have to remove those Disney glasses and still realize those Disney Christian glasses, and realize that the things that you see on TV, it's real, right? Being like, the potions and stuff like that. Like, that stuff is real. It's just not in the way that you think. Because you know what the crazy thing is? You be sitting there, man, I wish I can find me, I wish those types of witches were real where I can get me a potion to be super strong. Well, the crazy thing is there's fucking steroids. I want to be super fast and just all this energy. Man, you got crystal meth. You understand? I want to be able to go into a whole nother dimension, man. There's shrooms and acid. You understand? LSD. Like, there's all of these things are freaking, that you see on Disney, primarily on Alice in Wonderland. Man, that crap is real. It's just not as Disney-fied as as you see on the TV. You understand? All right, let's drop that. And we're going to go to the book of Exodus, chapter 22. Book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18. The book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18. All right. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Let's say that one more time. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So, mind you, we just got done talking about the fact in Deuteronomy 18, 10, and 11 that we're not to have our children, or we're not to have, our people, period. We're amongst us. We're not to have wizards and witches, right? But here in Exodus, it's also saying that you shall not suffer a witch to live at all. So, in other words, this is letting biblically, man, we're supposed to kill them, no matter what the nation is. You understand? If one of ours decided that they want to be a drug dealer, a witch, a wizard, they were to be put to death. That is a death penalty offense. You understand? And it's also something to that applies to the other nations as well. Man, You should not suffer a witch. You know, what, you want a witch to be right there, you know, neighboring your children? Just think about it. For some of y'all, how young, I can't even say the word old in this case. How young were you when you first tried, hell, the long list of drugs that you used to partake in? You understand? How young were you? I've heard stories of brothers and sisters smoking, getting high as young as 6 years old. And you know what? A big part of that is because you got these other nations living around us as witches and as wizards, giving your kids drugs, giving you drugs. Now, sure, you know, we got some of ours doing that as well, selling our own drug, our own young drugs, right? But we also got to take into consideration, man, I've never heard of a nigga or I've never heard of a nigga owning a boat port or an airport. I mean, I'll wait for anybody to let me know how the hell did these drugs flood our ghettos in the way that they did. I mean, like I said, I'll wait. I will wait. Someone to tell me how my people's the streets where my people dwell, how those streets got flooded with all these doggone drugs that plague us today. These disgusting heathen nations, when they came to live around us, to profit off of us, to keep us, you know, hitting that bottle that says drink me, to keep on eating those things that say eat me, to keep on, you know, snort me, inject me, all of them drugs. You understand? It's like, I know I'm still running on that doggone Alice in Wonderland comparison, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? Analogy, whatever the hell it's called, it's likely. Y'all get what I'm saying. These other nations have us being plagued with these, you know, with these drugs. That's keeping us at a low state. That's why this verse does not pertain to just our own, but period. We should not suffer a doggone witch, period, because they're going to poison the youth and the future generations, you know, thus after that. You understand? And that's for those of y'all that, you know, do sit there and do drugs yourselves, that sit there and do drugs yourselves. All right, that's like you. Sell drugs yourselves. Man, y'all should stop and actually take this into consideration that, you know what, the Most High God is watching you and he will be dealing with y'all ass. You're going to get that same punishment. You're going to drink from that same cup that these other nations are going to be drinking from. You understand? When it comes time to pay the piper, when it comes time for everybody to what's the word? Pay for their sins. You understand? Ain't nobody know no Darian, man. You understand? All right. So again, man, we're not to have drug dealers amongst our people, period. You understand? The Bible is a blueprint for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women to know how to live. So not only should we stop being drug dealers and drug consumers ourselves, but man, we should stay the hell away from it, period. We should not suffer no doggone drug dealers, period. You understand? And mind you, right now is not the time for us to be spilling blood. So what you're supposed to be doing as a Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man and woman is just by simply separating from these oppressors. You understand? All right, let's go ahead and drop this. And we're going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 17. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 17. All right. All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 17. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. Let's say that one more again. All right. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. So for those of y'all that may be watching, always asking why, be wondering why we always say that we need to separate from the so-called white man. We need to separate from these so-called Africans. We need to separate from these so-called Asians. At the end of the day, they evil, man. And they evil because you see their works. You see the things that they do. You know their historical records. You understand? You need to separate from them and their ways. I mean, it says it right here in Proverbs. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. You understand? So when you are upright, when you are righteous, you depart from evil. You understand? And that also includes those of us, because you know what? We do have evil amongst our people as well. You understand? I mean, if we didn't, we wouldn't have the drug issues that we actually do have. You understand? In our ghettos amongst our people. You understand? Because although we know who the biggest drug dealer is, the major drug pen, drug kingpin being Ronald Reagan. You understand? Being a representative for his people, right? If we departed from them and kept away and steered away from those people, you understand? We wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have this issue. You understand? In our ghettos, where we would be sitting there selling drugs, because you know what? We wouldn't partake in it in the first doggone place. You understand? He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Now, that way being that highway of being upright, of being righteous. You understand? Not following, the ways and works of his oppressors. You understand? Not being a drug dealer, not always getting high. You understand what I'm saying? Putting that weed down, putting that tobacco down, putting all them drugs down. You understand? All right, moving on. We're gonna drop that. Hold on, did I read? Oh, so lucky. Crazy thing is, I read the wrong doggone verse. But hey, it still do apply. Like Bernie Mac said, look at God. It's lucky. All right. So now we're gonna drop down another 10 verses. We're gonna go down to the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 17. I said it again. Verse 27. You understand? An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is a burning fire. You understand? Now let's break that down. First of all, it's talking about what an ungodly man would do in the first place, right? Which is diggeth up evil. How do you think they come up with, these how they harvest, these plants, whether it be tobacco, crack cocaine, heroin, you understand? And of course, the big defending champion of all drugs that everybody wants to, sit there and defend, marijuana. When they go to harvest it, man, what do? They dig it up. You understand? They dig up them plants and reharvest them. You understand what I'm saying? And then, of course, to take it even a step further to show that you are wicked, for when you do take those plants and what you do with it is against God. You understand? Because it says an ungodly man diggeth up that evil. You understand? And in his lips there is a burning fire. What is that burning fire in them lips? Man, that's you smoking that doggone cigarette. That's you smoking that doggone blunt. You understand? You ungodly. You are against God when you sit there and smoke. You understand? Like we've been saying. All right. So again, now mind you, This is not Officer Rock saying that, oh, you need to stop. I'm saying that it's evil to smoke. I'm not the one that's saying that it's evil to smoke marijuana. I'm not saying these things. God's saying these things. You understand? These things are coming out of the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? God ordained these words. God ordained these words to be a message to you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man and woman, for you to stop doing, partaking in these doggone ways of the heathen. You understand? Stop taking on, stop partaking in the works of the heathen. You understand? So now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8 and verse 17. The book of Ezekiel. I think it's in the other direction. So like it. You understand? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8 and verse 17. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. You understand? So we're going to break that down real quick before we go to verse 18, right? So it says, then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Of course, now for those of y'all that are not familiar to who Son of Man is, man, Son of Man is usually and more context than that is referring to the sons of the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? Us, so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman. You understand? It's talking about us, because all the other nations are actually considered as beasts. You understand? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? Now, those abominations, we kind of learn into what it is in a little bit later. Now, the house of Judah being a so-called Negro, right? For they have filled the land with violence. Man, that should be, we should really take a step back and take into consideration the type of violence that we have filled the land with ourselves, because we allow our oppressors to have their way with us. We allowed our oppressors to oppress us into fighting our own, into killing our own. You understand? That violence that we're having, in Chicago and Philadelphia, all over. So, they love to say black on black crime, even though it doesn't amount to the goddamn, white on white crime. You understand? But the black on black crime that we do have, you understand? The violence that we do have on our own, man, the Lord sees that as a doggone abomination. You understand? And then not only that, but it's being asked, like, man, is this a light thing? Is this something that is not being taken seriously? That we are being a violent people amongst ourselves? You understand? Let alone the abominations that we are committing. You understand? Those abominable acts for one, is us having, conducting violence against our own people. That violence also including selling and buying drugs with our own people. Drugs of all things, you understand? Salakia. For they have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to anger. You understand? And how do we provoke the Most High God to anger? By going against his will, by going against what the Most High God had commanded us to do. When you're not doing as the Most High God has commanded you to do, which is, for one, since this is the main topic of the class, putting that weed down, putting them drugs down, doing away with them doggone drug dealers, man, you're going to you turn the Most High God to wrath. You understand? And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Man, that branch, man, what do they do when they go get that tobacco leaf? What do they do when they get that, when they go and harvest that weed bud? Man, abominable. You understand? That in itself is, man, that's wicked. That's wicked, because you know what? That act in itself, you sitting there, you know what your intent is once you harvest them weed buds. You understand? When they go to harvest that weed bud, you know what your intent is. And either for you to smoke, you're gonna smoke some of it yourself, and then you also gonna sell it to your brothers and sisters. You're gonna sell it to your own people. You're gonna sell it to Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. Some of them even being children. You understand? And that, man, this provokes the Most High God to anger. The Lord sees that as an abominable act. Salaki, how would you feel against? Just think about any drug that you yourself are actually against, right? Anything at all that you are against, you Christian people that are watching this, that one thing that you are actually against, be it homosexuality, alcohol, cocaine, hell, something that, I ain't gonna say that. Just think about that one thing that'll turn you to wrath when you find out that your kid is partaking in that. And then now, just think about, somebody is feeding your children that said thing. So then now that one kid is spreading it amongst all his siblings. So in other words, amongst all your kids, as a parent, whether, whatever it may be, as a parent, you'd be upset, wouldn't you? That's the same exact standpoint that the ISUPK has, because that's the same standpoint that the Most High God has. You understand? He's pissed that these things are happening to his children, and that is his children are partaking in it. I pray that you understand. Moving on to verse 18. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. So in other words, man, when y'all sitting here whining and crying about how, I don't mean that in a provoking manner, or what's the word I actually want to use? In a degrading way. But when we sit here and crying about how, why me? Why my family? Why is it that my brother had to get shot? Why was it that my son had to die? Partaking in these things. I mean, it's telling you right here. It's telling you right here in all throughout this Bible that the Most High God will kill you, and for going against his will, for going against his word. You understand? He will kill you. You understand? The God of the Bible is not, it's not the same God that the Christians depict. You understand? With that white Jesus. You understand? And that white Jesus is God. I don't know if y'all Christians, y'all really confusing with, whether or not y'all believe in, white Jesus is the God and the Son, or if he's actually the Son and the God. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, just to make it real simple. The truth of the Bible is Yahushua Mashiach in Hebrew, or Jesus Christ, as y'all know him in English. You understand? That is the Son of God, and that's it. He is just the Son. You understand? The Yahushua Mashiach, our King, or Jesus Christ in the English, he is he is God's only begotten Son. He does not have schizophrenia. He does not have mental issues like how Christians try to make Jesus sound like he does. Their Jesus, their Jesus has schizophrenia because he'll sit there and pray to himself. Why did you forsaken me? And then he'll also, I guess he also splits himself off like some sort of, sci-fi alien so that he can sit in the throne of God and then on the right-hand side of the throne. So he's sitting in two seats at the same time, simultaneously. And mind you, also sitting in heaven at the same time that he is walking on the earth. You understand? So the point is, right, the Most High God is not going to hear your cries. You understand? When he's giving you time after time, chance after chance, Black, Hispanic, First Nation, man and woman, to get yourself right. You understand? Gives you those chances where he spares you. Because he didn't kill you today does not mean that he will not kill you tomorrow for doing them drugs. You understand? So because you got to wake up tomorrow, you better just take that as you know what? My ass got lucky. Before your ass end up getting shot up at a McDonald's. Get your whole house shot up. Then everybody in your house died but you because you wanted to be a drug dealer. You understand? Like I pray that y'all understand what I'm trying to teach y'all, what I'm trying to show y'all. You understand? Because if you start to understand this, that fear of the Lord is sure to fall. It should increase your fear of the Most High God. So that you sit there and think about the things that you are doing. Is the Lord going to kill me for this? You know what? Let me call one of the priests and prophets of the ISUPK to get counsel so that I can find out the things that I can keep doing and the things that I need to stop doing so I don't get killed for something stupid that I'm doing that I thought was okay. You understand? All of this all ties right back into the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7. For the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You understand? You start to receive that knowledge and it makes you fear the Most High God. You understand what I'm saying? I pray that you do. All right. We're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38 and verse 2. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38 and verse 2. All right. All right. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 2. For the Most High cometh healing. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. You understand? So this right here is letting you know, if you want to receive healing, ultimately, it's all going to come from the Most High God. Prime example. Man, chemotherapy is effective, but its effectiveness is going to be based off of what the Most High God ordains to be, ordains it to be. If he's like, nah, man, matter of fact, he's on chemotherapy, he or she is on chemotherapy, good. Make them even more miserable. They deserve it. That could be his mindset. Because you know what? There are people who still die from chemotherapy. But there are some people who go through full remission, do a couple rounds of chemo, and it's gone. Man, that's the Lord. You understand? You have to understand that whether you live or you die, that is decided by the Most High God. You understand? Your life is always in the Most High God's hands. You understand? So that should, this kind of goes back to what we was talking about earlier about, when weed heads, marijuana's healing and it's from the earth. And God put it here and blah, 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 blah. But your goofy ass is going to end up getting goddamn lung cancer from smoking weed. Even though that you trying to say that, the THC has cancer repelling agents, within the chemical compounds and this, that, and the other. But then it's funny how your goofy ass still ended up with goddamn cancer. You know why you ended up with cancer? Because the Lord wanted you to have cancer. You know why somebody overcomes cancer and goes into full remission? Because the Lord wanted them to recover and have you come back in full remission from that said cancer. You understand? Everything is decided by the Most High God. You understand? Everything. He allows. See, look, listen. And I want y'all to listen to this good, right? Y'all, as Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women, we have to really, truly understand that if it wasn't for the love and the mercy of the Most High God, we would not be Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women would not walk on this earth. Now, how do I know that? Why am I saying that? When you take into consideration the genocide that they attempted, they did commit it, but it wasn't full genocide on our so-called First Nation men and women, brothers and sisters, the so-called Native Americans, right? The reason why it wasn't a full genocidal extinction was because the Most High God loves First Nation men and women. He loves those brothers and sisters. You understand? But then when you look at history on other parts of the world, you know that there was, I know everybody knows from Looney Tunes, there's that character, the Tasmanian Devil. Now, that Tasmanian Devil was actually a representation of the people of the Tasmania island. You understand? Because they were some aggressive ass people. You understand? They pretty violent. Now, there's a reason why I'm using the word was. They're extinct. The so-called European man killed them off. You understand? Now, mind you, the Most High God throughout the Bible had us kill off others. You understand? But when it came to a time where our oppressor, our current oppressor, the so-called white man, when he was put into power, we all know that this dude, man, he hates and despises us as Blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. If you make sure that you read that book of Genesis chapter 25 and then on. You understand? Because he sure as hell has that spirit of Esau where he swore in his heart to kill his brother Jacob. You understand? And that spirit has continued on to today. You understand? That spirit of Esau is still on all of his children. You understand? Where they want nothing to do with so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women unless they eating our food, wearing our culture, listening to our music, or we're enslaved. If you take that very last one away, they'll nitpick. They still want them other three. But when you take number 4 away, they really show you that they want you dead. That in their eyes, that as a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, you should either be enslaved or you should be dead. You understand? I pray that y'all understand that. I really man, Salaki, like I really prayed that you Black, Hispanic, and First Nation men and women, man, that y'all really have to understand that, man, the Most High God really does love us. He really does love you. The amount of mercy that he has on us as a whole, and when I say as a whole, I mean all of Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. The mercy that we are able to have as long as we take advantage of it. You understand? You got that mercy until he kills your ass. You understand? But I really pray that y'all come to understand, man, that if the Most High God did not have that mercy on us, if the Most High God did not have that love for us, Esau would eliminate every single one of us. Planned Parenthood will be a whole lot more effective. You understand? Those drugs plaguing our streets would be a whole lot more effective. Hell, the police force would be a whole lot more effective at killing Blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. You understand? Nothing is at its full effectiveness, can fully work and operate the way that the so-called white man wants it to, because of the grace and love of the Most High God. Like I really can't. I know I keep repeating it, but I can't say it enough. Because you know what? That is something as a black man, as a Hispanic man, as a First Nation man, we have to understand that. And I'm saying a man in particular right here, because you know what? At the end of the day, we are the ones who need, we are the ones with the responsibility to lead our people. To be a leader is something that was, given to the man. You understand? It was given to a man, and we need to step up to that plate. You understand what I'm saying? And part of that is also knowing what Ecclesiasticus 38:2 says, "For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king." So in other words, Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man, you learn about Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, that for the fear of the Lord, for first comes the, so like just to, paraphrase it, actually, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. When you understand that and you take that in, and hell, you allow that fear of the Lord to direct your life, that's also going to allow you to direct your brothers and sisters who follow you, because now you just became that leader that our people need, that our people require. You understand? You just became that example, Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man. You understand? All this knowledge that is coming forth, man, that comes out of this book, that comes out of these classes because we read this book. You understand? To teach our people how to, for one, follow the Most High God, and the reasons to also fear the Most High God. You understand? That's what's going to make us all knowledgeable. That's what's going to get us right. Because let's be honest, what do they say in all the movies? What do they say in all the books? And quite frankly, is the reality of things. Man, fear is an amazing motivator. And let me tell you from myself, from my own personal experience, the fear of the Lord is what got me stopped smoking both, weed and tobacco. You understand? The fear of the Lord is why I am the person that I am now. Why I stopped doing all the things that I stopped doing and started doing the things that I started doing. You understand? Giving back more to my people, because you know what? That's what Christ did. You understand? Stop being that bad example by, being somebody who does what everybody else does, because you know what? Christ didn't do that. You understand what I'm saying? That all started with I finally got and quite frankly, yeah, it was a finally got an ounce of a fear of the Lord. And from there, it brought me to here. Where, hell, the fear of the Lord, outweighs my fat ass that I have. The fear of the Lord that I have outweighs my fat ass. So I'll never be able to, be strong enough to lift that fear. Like, I am afraid of the Most High God. I pray that y'all understand that. All right. And so, like, I was actually supposed to read verse 31. My doggone notes was, chapter 38, verse 1. My notes is still kind of funky. So I'm going to read both 1 and 2 again, and then we're going to move on. All right. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which he may have of him. For the Lord hath created him. Man, that's like, man. If your doctor tells you that you should take this, then take it. But now, mind you, what is a doctor also going to tell you? Take this drug as needed. Take this, when you wake up and when you go to bed. That's it. Take this right before you start working out. Take this with a glass of milk. You understand? Take this every 6 hours. Take this every 4 hours when you're awake. You understand what I'm saying? Your physician, your doctor is going to give you specific instructions on how to take, whatever medication he's going to prescribe you. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm really going in on that because at the end of the day, I get it. All right. Marijuana has medicinal properties. But you know what? So does methamphetamine. That's why y'all ask, if you go to the doctor with a bad enough injury, you'll get some methamphetamine. You understand? But you only get as much as they give you for specific reasons. For one, they don't want you getting hooked. But you know what I'm saying? These drugs are supposed to be taken in moderation at a necessary time. You understand what I'm saying? That's all drugs. Like I explained to y'all, man, tobacco has medicinal properties. Cocaine has medicinal properties. Heroin has medicinal properties. And I know as much as y'all love to hear this, marijuana has its medicinal properties. But those medicinal properties aren't actually being properly utilized when you're smoking it and injecting it and sniffing it every goddamn day. You understand? Your physician, your doctor will tell you how to take it, how frequent to take it. And that should be the extent of it for you. You understand? And then verse 4. All right, that's like, and then verse 2. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. You understand? And of course, the healing will come forward from the Most High. So in other words, let your ass be sitting there, get, over-the-counter prescribed cough syrup. And then you said, ooh, I'm about to, the what is it called? Lil Wayne do it? The cough syrup crap, lean, I think it is. That's got him looking like he honestly looked dead. Salakia, that brother looks dead. He don't even look like a cracker. He just looks dead, right? You'll end up looking like, you start taking that lean, so you end up looking like him. Man, the Lord dealt with his ass for that reason. You taking this medicine past what you should be taking it in the first place. You understand? I'm not saying that he got addicted to it because, he got sick and then, got the Jolly Rancher and the Sprite, put it together and whoop, and then bam. Like, basically, the doctor screwed him on. Oh, man. If my memory serves me correct, he went about himself to go get that lean, put it on, concoct that all, that little mess together, so that he can get high, just to simply get high, not to overcome any type of ailment. At the end of the day, you got to say he deserves to look like death. He looks like death with skin. And it's like, he looks like death with skin. That's what he looks like to me. And Salagi, I fear the Lord too much. Even, like, I'm just saying, some of y'all is bold, man. How y'all can see some of the outcomes of people when they do certain drugs, and then you still say, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm still gonna do it. As if that shit can't happen to you. Like, man, listen, I serve a powerful and terrible God. The God of the Bible is a powerful and terrible God. He is a God that will kill you. He is not like that Christian God that just is only limited to the power of love. The God of the Bible is not a Care Bear. You understand? He is not a goddamn Care Bear. The Most High God will kill you and keep on pushing. I pray you understand that, Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man and woman. I pray you understand that. I pray you understand that so much. You keep watching these classes. You get in contact with with your respective school in your zone, so that you can keep coming to the classes. So you can actually physically come to the classes. You understand? I pray that it scares you out of being a drug dealer, even talking to drug. I pray that it scares you. Put so much fear in you of the Lord that you just so much as see a drug dealer and you like, oh my God. I shouldn't even be on the same goddamn corner. And you just ready to skedaddle because you afraid that as soon as you see that drug dealer, he's going to get shot right then and there. And you can possibly get caught in that crossfire, wrong place, wrong time type scenario, because your fear of the Lord is that strong. Because you know what? That type of fear of the Lord will keep you from getting killed. That type of fear of the Lord will keep you from being places that you shouldn't be. It'll keep you from doing things that you shouldn't be doing. You understand? That right there, the fear of the Lord. If you ever want to know what the protection is that we receive in the ISUPK from the Most High God, is from the fear of the Most High God. Because we fear the Most High God, because we know what he'll do, that protects us. That in itself protects us. Now, it's not just as simple as that, because, mind you, he does obviously have angels, and there's something, sometimes, things are out of our control, or we're just simply trying to do the work. Take prime example, the Kentucky 8. You understand? They're out there trying to do that work during them doggone riots. And the Lord protected them while they was in a battleground. You understand? Spared those brothers' lives, protected them so that I think the worst injury was, somebody might, a brother just had his arm gashed. One of ours just had his arm gashed. You understand? Where it wasn't, ain't nothing too bad, little injury, little battle scar, but nonetheless, you understand? He still got his life. You understand? That is the Lord's protection. All right. So book first. We're dropping that. We're going to the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 13 is where we're starting off. All right. The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 13. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach, or in the English, Jesus Christ. Right? We'll break that down before we go on to the next verse.
Wherefore gird up the loins of your minds. Man, that's basically man saying, man, boot up, lace up, man up. Make your mind. Have your mind be prepared to resist, so that it's not about to, fall and crumble to any and everything that comes its way. You understand? Be sober. You understand? Don't, simply put it, man, leave them goddamn drugs alone. And drugs got you doing all sorts of manner of wickedness anyways. You understand? Got you being a homosexual. Got you, stealing from your brother, stealing from your sister. Got you at odds with your own. You understand? Man, be sober. All right? So that you can also think clearly with a clear mind. So that when something wicked comes your way to tempt you, you got a sober mind and you can think clearly. And know, nah, man, this is Satan. This is the devil. This is of Satan. This is of the devil. This is of the works of the so-called white man trying to get me to stay in his ways. You understand? And hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Right? And hope to the end for the grace. Understand? Or so like, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Man, there is grace that comes with the revelation, or who Yahweh Shah Mashiach, or in English, Jesus Christ, who he is, and mind you, also what he is. The fact that he is a so-called black man from the house of Judah, from the tribe of Judah. You understand? A so-called Negro. You understand? That's what Yahweh Shai Mashiach is. That is who he is. You understand? Of course, not to undermine the fact that he is our king. You know what I'm saying? But he is a black man. You understand? And from you learning that, when that is revealed unto you, man, hope will come once you understand that grace follows that. All right. So that's what you should unpack from verse 13. Verse 14, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lusts in your ignorance. So in other words, you're acting now, you are being an obedient child. After you got that revelation of Christ, you understand that you are under now you got that grace. You understand what that grace is. You understand? And basically fueled by that hope. You understand? Loins just girded up so that you can just remain to be an obedient child to the Most High God. You understand? Another, not partaking in them old lusts that you used to partake in. Watching pornography, having sex with whores, being a homosexual. Hell, do not forget the fact that you being addicted to drugs is a lust of your flesh. It is a lust of your flesh. Your spirit doesn't go, oh damn, man, I really need to get high. You know how you know that? Because when you resist the urge, you start to have bodily withdrawals. You don't have spiritual withdrawals. Your body starts to act out. You understand? Where you sweat and you get these little pains and aches. Oh, I really need a cigarette. I really need to get high. I really need to drink. What have you? You understand? And mind you, you are doing these things in your ignorance. So the Bible is also letting you know that the Most High is aware. The Yahweh Shai is aware. The angels is aware when you were ignorant. You understand? And you were doing these things. It also means that they are aware when you knew better and you still did it. All right, so keep that in mind, right? Verse 15. But as he which hath called you is holy, So be ye holy in all manner of conversation. You understand? So, man, if you are called by someone who is holy. Holy means separate. That holy is, man, and that he is being the Most High God. You are called by the Most High God. You are called by Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You understand? He is calling you, whom of which are holy. You understand? They are holy. They are separate. To be holy is to be separate, right? So be ye holy in all manner of conversation. So in other words, whenever your name comes up, whenever somebody talks about you, it's always in a manner of how holy you are, how separate you are. You understand? Take, for example, Brett, it might be your own doggone family hating on you. Oh, this mother is in a doggone cult and this, that, and the other. He think he better than me because he don't eat pork, he don't eat shrimp, he don't eat crab, he don't get high no more, he don't sling drugs no more. He ain't about dropping a body no more. He ain't about doing any manner of wickedness. The way that they're saying it, it might be like talking shit, right? They talking against you. They trying to talk you down. But in reality, man, that conversation, they speaking of you in a holy way. Because you know what, quite frankly, they can't say that about anybody else of which they hang around. You understand? Because in reality, what they're saying is, man, this brother is holy. This brother is a righteous brother. And I can't say that about myself because I'm too goddamn weak. And none of the people that I hang around can say that about themselves because I'm too weak to even hang around people who are holy, who are righteous, who are better. And neither can they. You understand? But this brother can, and this brother did. You understand? So be ye holy in all manner of conversation. And that's just an example for if somebody trying to talk negative on you. Just imagine not only what it would sound like, but what it would feel like when you hear somebody, big up in your name because you did something great. You did something of honor. You did something that deserved to be spoken about. You understand? And I'm not going to go into what I did, but I've had that, a time or two, and I'll keep it a butt. I prefer when it's, just me personally, I prefer, the big ups to be done in private. If you're going to big up me, man, just do it in private. I'd rather not everybody else know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's probably the wrong, I ain't going to say probably is. That is the wrong way to look and view that. But I will say, like, man, that is a wonderful feeling though. When to have somebody, say your name and then big up you in a righteous way. And in the midst of it saying, man, like this brother is righteous. This brother is a phenomenal brother because he did X, Y, and Z. You understand? And in fact, I challenge you, all of you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women, I challenge you to be able to have somebody speak to you in that manner about you. You understand? And let it be somebody of value, somebody of note. And in other words, don't be trying to go to, Debo down the street that you and him stayed, just roaming the block, just beating up anybody and everybody that, come your way. Like, oh, hey, I like, man, you think I'm a good person? You think, like, nah, man. Somebody, like Commander Junior Hunter. Now, that's not me insinuating that I had Commander General Hunter big up my name like that. No, that didn't happen. You understand? That's neither here nor there. The only thing I'll say about the matter is that, man, it's a nice feeling. And I challenge y'all to get that for yourselves, right? But get it from a righteous man, a good man, like Commander General Hunter, like 12 Shield General Mahayman. You understand? Right, hell, maybe you never get the opportunity to be around him. Like, you know, maybe you got the opportunity to be around Captain Tazarian, Captain Katazar. Goddamn, you know, if you out here in Vegas, man, like Officer Shabal, like Officer Bakor, Officer Shalimar, get them to pick up your name. Men that are of, you know, of an upright and righteous, what's the word, stature. You understand? And I pray that you do. All right. We actually just got short on time, or not short on time. We're coming up to the time right now. So we're gonna pick up where I left, you know, where we're leaving off, which is next week, Lord allow. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 is what we'll pick up for to finish up this topic next week. You understand? And then if we finish that up, you know, Lord allow, we finish that topic next in the midst of that class, and I'll have another topic prepared as well to follow up with that. So Lord allow, we'll get, you know, 2 topics in for 1 class. You understand? So again, we are the ISUPK, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. You understand? This is the ISUPK Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class. I am Precinct Officer 500 Rock. Make sure that y'all subscribe to our YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you also click on the little bell so that you are always alerted to all, you know, to get notifications for, you know, our interviews that we upload and all of our live classes that we come up with. All right, you can never get enough knowledge, and quite frankly, this knowledge is the only knowledge that actually matters. You understand? I pray you understand, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman. You understand? Also, make sure that you go onto our Facebook. We also stream live on the Facebook, so if that's easier for y'all to watch the classes, you know, and also, you know, participate in the chat and whatnot. I do encourage y'all to go onto the Facebook ISUPK Las Vegas Facebook page. Make sure you thumbs up the page. You understand? And so with that, shalom.